Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the best products from the summer collections. Yes, summer has just started here in the US, but that marks the end of the traditional summer collection drops, beauty, fashion, all it. And when we start to get into July and August, we will start to see fall collections. In fact, in a way, for the last couple of years, this has been sort of kicked off with the Nordstrom anniversary sale. The Nordstrom anniversary sale is the beginning of July, and you'll see a lot of videos and posts and stuff from me about that, with fall collections at discount, which is the only sale that really does anything like that, which is why it's such a big deal. But for beauty, we start to see fall collections drop. Now, the bigger collections like the Chanel's and the Dior's, they used to be historically August, but it's been inching closer and closer, sooner and sooner, and there's been like more segments of the drop. So in other words, you know, part A, summer part B, summer part C, especially by Dior. So today we're going to take a look back. I'm going to show you the products that I've been using from the summer collections that I think are the best. Doesn't mean that the other products that I, reviewed and liked, I don't like anymore, but these are the ones that I am fairly sure, never completely 100%, but fairly sure at the end of the year when I do my wrap-up videos of the best, these will be in the pile that I consider to, do the top of the top. So first of all, foundation. There actually has been a number of products that I have tried this year that I've really liked. The Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer was sort of revamped, and I really like what she did with the Dewy formula. I think it is truly excellent. It's really, really good. And I absolutely love that product, and I've been using it, and I think it's amazing. The other products that I've used that are sort of like tinted moisturizers / coverage, Sarah Creel has one, Isden has one. There's a bunch of them that are out, and I really do think they are all really good. Like, I've been very impressed with the products. CL is probably my favorite one. I don't know if that one is a new release though. I think that's been out longer than just the summer, but those are all products that I think are really good. I don't necessarily consider them a foundation. I think they're more of like a summer glowy product almost, but the line is very blurred now. There isn't really a traditional quote foundation and tinted moisturizer like there used to be. It's all kind of melded because skincare is a part of so many different foundations now. There are so many products that really don't give a lot of coverage, but they blur your skin. So it's a new type of technology that, although might not give you coverage, it actually makes your skin look phenomenal. So I had a difficult time narrowing it down to just one that I wanted to talk about. Chantecaille reformulation I'm not including in this conversation because I haven't used it long enough to really say whether I like it more or less than the old formulation. What I can say though is the color is different, at least for Aura, because that was the shade that I had before, and it is different. And it now has a retinoid alternative, not actually retinoids in it, but that doesn't matter. There may be people that have problems with it, and there's other changes to the formula. So take a good look at the ingredients and decide if any of those are problematic for you. When they change formulas, it's just something you have to be aware of. I haven't had any problems with it yet, but it's too soon to really tell. So the product that I had to really say was my favorite was the Merit. This is the Uniform. It's a tinted mineral sunscreen, and it has Spectrum SPF 45. And I have to say, I think it looks phenomenally good on my skin. Like, I really like it. I know some people have some problems with the ingredients in there. I don't. So, I just have to be honest with what works for me. And it gives a great blurring coverage. The color is perfect. This is 28. I can also use the shade 30 if I want something cooler, which is probably what I'll do in the winter, frankly, and I'll use the 28. The 28 isn't deeper, the 28 is warmer, and my skin actually gets a little bit more neutral, more warm in the summer, and then in the winter it's cooler because, again, the sun doesn't really tan me, but I think you get more of like a warmth to my skin. It's interesting. So yeah, I think this is a great product. I've done reviews on it. I think it's smoothing, and it is non-irritating for me. I think it gives really nice level of coverage without being too much. Has an SPF of 45. I have done a video where I used half a teaspoon of the product all over my face. It did not look cakey on me. It was fine. You know, so if you're building up to that SPF 45, I like the feel of it. I like the look of it. I think it's easy to travel with because it's got, you know, it's like a plastic tube. I think it's a really great product. There are, like I said, there's many others that I've reviewed over the last couple of months that I've said I really like. And so it was very difficult for me to just narrow it down to one. But I think the Merit one was the most, I was most surprised and impressed when I used it. I'm still using it, and I think it really looks excellent on the skin. Okay, next, blush. So there was 7 million blush sticks that came out this year. And I've done videos between the difference between Westman and Dior and the Chantecaille ones and the House Lab ones. And look, here's the thing, which is true about everything, but you know, social media never likes nuance, but here it is, because it is nuanced. Of all the ones I've tried, I think they're all so much better than the old blush sticks used to be. Westman, when they did their blush sticks, honestly, it was revolutionary. That's why I bought, like, I think I had like 5 of them at the time. The market has caught up. There are other products now, there are other blush sticks that you might not like as much as Westman, or maybe you'll like more, but the point is there's really good ones on the market. And it depends on your skin type and the shades that you're looking for and whether there's perfume in it. All of those things will factor into which one you like the best. For me, personally, given my taste, my favorite is the Chanel. This is the Chanel Refresh. This is the pink shade. And I really love the finish of these. I think it's very soft and ethereal looking. It blends right into the skin. It doesn't go tacky. I like the shades. I have seen the other blush sticks, the older ones, in action. And yes, it's the same formulation. I am going to buy them. Yes. I have to wait because I've been trying to buy like, some other things. I'm, you know, trying to level out my purchases, but I at least got to see them. And yes, they're beautiful. I actually like some of the older shades better. The Chanel ones are right for me, but the new Dior are great, especially if you have drier skin. The new Charlotte Tilbury are excellent all around, but the shades are, for the most part, brighter shades. You don't have any of the browns or like very light shades. And then if you're looking for something more nuanced, I think the House Labs ones are actually excellent. They have more brown shades. They have a more variety of shades. And so I think there's a lot out there now that you can choose from. So I think overall that's a good thing. But for me, it's the Chanel Refresh, which is was a limited edition. There's the orange and the Reset and Refresh shade. Contour. So technically this is the Sarah Creel bronzer, but this is in shade 2, and I use it as contour because these shades are, the shade is cool. And number 1 shade does work for me as a bronzer or a contour, depending on how you want to use it, but I think number 2 is the perfect shade for a contour for me. I love it. I use it on my nose and my cheeks and just a little bit here, and I think it's an excellent product. It is a very balmy product. It works really well for people who have more mature skin, drier skin. I think people who have really oily skin probably won't like the formula. It's very similar to her highlighting formula, which is a very balmy feel. Makeup by Mario has a product like it as well. It's just that balmy, silky, smooth kind of thing. It blends into your skin and it dies down. This is not something that's going to impart a ton of pigment. I think even the deepest shade is not going to work for people who have deeper skin tones. So it's a very limited range, 3 shades, but again, because I'm so pale, it works really well for me. Another bronzer is the Queen Musia bronzers that I have. Now, I've been using the Klimt Gold one, which is the lightest shade, because I think that works best on me, but the second shade up is beautiful. I wish they had the same undertones of that one, but in the lighter shade. Maybe Queen Musia will make more. But this formula is phenomenally good, and the Queen Musia blushes formula, also phenomenally good, like really, really great. The only reason the blushes aren't in this is because, for the most part, they're deeper. They're more pigmented blushes. And I just, if I'm going to do the top of the top, the best of the best, I'd say for me, they're not, you know, the shades. The formula absolutely is like the best. It's absolutely outstanding. It's almost as good. I don't want to say it's as good, but it's almost as good as the old Chanel's. Like, it's really that great. But the shades, for me personally, aren't the shades that I necessarily would want, but the formula is outstanding. The same is true for the bronzer. The only thing that is knocking it out of its place is the Fairer bronzer, or the Fairer Homedy bronzer. Now, here's the thing about this, though. It is so new to me that I was very hesitant to put it in, kind of like the Chantecaille. I didn't put the Chantecaille in. But the reason I did is I'm so impressed with the way the shade Bois has been created for fair skin types. I can't speak to the other shades, but this has something in it that very few other bronzers have, and I think the closest is Gucci. It is bronze, but rose undertone, like a burn undertone, which I've said many times is very difficult to capture for fair skin, like how you would actually tan. And the Bois shade really does do that really well. However, it is really new, and I am hesitant to be like, yes, it's the best bronzer I've tried, because there's been a bunch of bronzers I've tried that I actually really like. The Prisme Libre, there's been a few. And the Queen Musa, I mean, I was so impressed with the formula. So that's why I have two, because I think you'll be very impressed with the Fairer Homedy bronzers. I really do. But I'm specifically calling out Bois for the fair skin, and the way that they've curated the shade, I think, is very impressive. So time will tell if it knocks everything else out of place. Powder blush. So I picked the Dior Backstage blush, and I'll tell you why. This is in shade Toffee. I really like this shade. I think the shade is phenomenally good, and for me, for somebody who's looking for more of that, you know, lighter shade that has a little bit of warmth, but also can be cool, you know, neutral, warm leading neutral. This is a great shade. And the formula is excellent. It stays on forever. The pigment is really good. I have to give it to Dior. They fixed their Backstage products, and it's that good. It's excellent. I didn't pick the blush sticks, and I picked the Chanel instead, because the Dior ones, they are extremely emollient, and they work for me. They do, and I do really like them. But I will tell you, in the summer, the other day when it was like super, super hot, my skin did feel a little sticky, which is weird for me because it doesn't really happen. So the Chanel gets, for summer, the Chanel gets the top spot. But for the powder, it's the Dior, and specifically the Toffee shade. Highlighter. It's the Prada highlighter. There really wasn't a question. It's the Prada highlighter in 02. I really like this shade. I think it's very beautiful. I think this shade is very subtle and very nuanced and looks fantastic on the skin. I say it's similar to the Chanel Camellia. The Chanel Camellia is still better, but you can't really buy the Chanel Camellia. I did see one of my subscribers was able to get the Chanel Camellia on a secondary market, which, congratulations, that is so awesome. Like in pristine condition too, for really a good price. I mean, honestly, I see the Camellias for like $200, $250. It's ridiculous for, you know, a highlighter. But that highlighter, I've never seen anything quite like it. I think it's similar, but nothing quite like it. So the Prada is close. The Prada is really, really close. And honestly, on the market right now, I think that's the best. I mean, like it's the best one I've tried. It's the best highlighter I've tried outside of that. So I really love the formula. The number one shade is just a little bit brighter, more luminescent than the two, more radiant than the two. So I like them both, but the two is my favorite for like every day. I mean, again, that's my take on things. The lipstick and liner. So this is a Dolce & Gabbana. I talked about these. These are the Kiss My Gloss, which nobody's talking about, but I love these. This is in shade 3, I think. Yep. Which is basically the brown. And it's the liner and the gloss. And I think these are a fantastic product. I love them. The lip liners stay on forever. And the gloss is a really nice gloss. Now, when you put the gloss on the liner, you know, it's gonna lift the color because the gloss is emollient. But if you just use the liner by itself, it stays really well. And the gloss is beautiful. I really like it. They call it a 4D gloss stick. And I do think it has a really unique kind of look to it that I haven't seen for really any other gloss. It does plump and make your lips look like juicy. And I love the formula, and I love the colors actually too. There's actually quite a few that are really nice. Liner. The liner that stood out to me was the Prada liner. Now, I only have it in bronze. I think it's called Ember. The other shades, there was another shade, there was like a pearlescent silver shade that I wanted to get, and it was sold out for a while. I think it's back. So I'll probably buy them like during a Sephora sale in the future, the winter Sephora sale, or somewhere else where I can find it. Maybe Nordstrom will have it. But yeah, these are great liners. They slide right on. They're beautiful. They really do look amazing on. I haven't any problems with smudging. And again, my eyes are dry, so always keep that in mind. But, you know, even though my eyes are dry, I can tell when I get smudges under the eye because I use such emollient products on my face and I use them on my eyelids and under my eyes because my skin is so dry. If a product is going to transfer, it's going to transfer on me too, but it's going to be less than people who have like really oily eyelids or anything. I'll see it here more than anything else. And there are some products that do that, but this one, the Prada one doesn't, I don't have any problems with it. And then last is the eyeshadow, and the shadow I have on my eyes, I don't think it's going to be a shock to anyone. It's the Dior Brown Cashmere. And, you know, guys, it's a simple look. It's 2 shades that are in here that I've been using kind of on repeat. So it's, you know, it's the middle shade and this shade. I can't really see it there. Middle shade and this shade. Sometimes I just use this shade. Sometimes I just use this shade. Sometimes I use this shade and this shade and this shade. It's a really fantastic, easy to use, neutral, cool leaning brown color story. Formula is excellent. The white shade in the middle is the really, in my opinion, the really special shade. And that's the one I use more than anything. It's going to be gone. I should have bought 2. I probably should find another one and get it because I'm going to probably go through the white shade in the middle. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I've told everybody that they should buy it. I think it's great. I think it's an excellent product. I'm very impressed with it. So, you know, I think pretty much anyone would like it. And then last but not least, powder. So there's been a lot of powders. The Prisme Libre, the new one that came out when they fixed their pressed powder, and there's been some Suku powder, and there's been a lot of powders that I've really liked. But the one that I use, and I have been using, which is so interesting to me, is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Stupid Heart, that I do not like. But the powder is amazingly good. It's excellent. For me anyway. It sets and blurs my skin. It makes me look bright and flawless as a person can be. And it's very comfortable and it lasts and it doesn't settle on the lines and it's great. I hope she comes out with just pressed powders, you know, like her old, she still has her old pressed powders, but in different shades, like the pink and the peach, and maybe she would do a lavender, I don't know. But if she had flawless powders just by themselves, and there was a pink, a peach, a tan, a purple, you know, whatever, lilac, a blue, I would buy them. I would buy all of them. I think the formula is that good. So Charlotte Tilbury is not watching my videos, but I think the formula is outstanding. I tried to think of perfumes that have come out during the summer that I really loved. And to be honest with you, my brain short-circuited and I really couldn't think of one that stood out to me. There's been a bunch of perfumes that I like, but I don't think they necessarily were released in the summer. So again, though, I'm not like summer collections to me don't really scream perfume either. So I was kind of like, yeah. There have been some that I like, but I think they're, you know, I don't think they're summer releases. So if you guys want to help me out and mention ones that I've talked about that would make a good, you know, summer release, I really can't. I mean, Lake and Sky has great fragrances and I've mentioned them for Mother's Day. I think they're really good because a lot of people can wear them and they have a vanilla fragrance, which is lovely and all of that. But like, I can't think of something that where I'm like, oh, it's the best of the best of the best. You know, I'll have it forever kind of fragrance off the top of my head for summer. And there's others that I know will be released in the fall and the winter that may be fantastic. I just don't know yet. But I can't think of ones in the summer that have been released that have become, you know, instant favorite type of things. So I do also want to mention the Guerlain, the Meteorites and the new Shadows. Because I know I'm going to get a question about the green one. Isn't that in this list? So again, 2 things. One, it's relatively new, so I didn't want to jump into it. and say it's the best of the summer since they look like fall palettes, but anyway. But two, I really love that green palette. I think it's great. And it's Emerald Feather or something like that. That one's beautiful. And the other one I haven't really tried out yet. But if I'm gonna get up here and say these are my favorites from the summer collection, then it has to be something that I've continuously used. It has to be something that since I got it, I was like, oh yes, I keep getting drawn to that. Which is why the Fair Hominidity one, I was kind of like, that's why I put the Queen Musia in with it. But I have to say, since I got the Bois, I have been using it and not any of my others, which is why I felt like, okay, it's worth putting in here. But I can't say the same about the Guerlain shadows or the meteorites, because the shadows just seem, they just seem very fall, winter to me. And the meteorites, although beautiful, I don't really wear, I'm not like dusting off powder over my face this time of summer. The Charlotte Tilbury one, I have actually worn, strangely enough, but a couple of times that I've gone out, because I feel like it's so light and it feels really like weightless, but it also blurs, that I've been using it just like right in here when I get sweaty. So, you know, I'm not saying the meteorites aren't really good. I really like the shade, but there's different factors about it. I didn't think it was right to put it in this. That's not even talking about the whole scent change thing, which we won't get into. So anyway, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about the best of the summer collections. When this video goes up, it'll be the end of June, beginning of July of 2025 in the United States. And it will be interesting to see how quickly the fall releases drop. It could be the beginning of July. It could be like July 1st. Maybe that'll happen, but it's the July 4th weekend again here in the United States. So, you know, maybe they'll push it off until after July 4th and it'll be like July 7th or 8th or whatever. Or, you know, maybe it'll start, or maybe we will see things more traditionally come later in July and August, because a lot of brands are rethinking their strategies given the recent dips in sales, which I'll get into another video. But yeah, some of the brands have actually been like, oh, people aren't just going to endlessly buy whatever we throw at them. So that could change the dynamics of release times. We'll see. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon.